Thank you for giving me the opportunity to serve as your Commodore. What an enormous honour and privilege. Firstly, I must thank everyone involved in the planning and the execution of our first virtual AGM. John, Liz, Simon and Joe in particular. A huge amount of work went on to make it happen and it's been absolutely excellent. Thanks must also go to my friend Jane Scott, who is almost entirely responsible for my being here. Many years ago, she asked if I'd join the House Committee as a volunteer and later the General Committee, both of which I did and thoroughly enjoyed, but with absolutely no intention of going any further in the club's management. She then persuaded me to stand for Rear Commodore House, a brilliant position which I held for 3 years and loved, with a fantastic and very hard-working House Committee, and during which I had the honour of being imposed for our excellent, if hugely labour-intensive centenary. Jane then asked me to stand as her Vice Commodore, and as well as supporting her, I've absolutely loved working with the wonderful Estates Committee, looking after the fabric of the club. I agreed to stand as Vice Commodore on the firm understanding that I had no plans to stand for Commodore, and guess what? So a huge thank you to our most immediate past Commodore, and for everything that Jane has achieved in her many years of working for the club. Enjoy the well-earned rest, Jane. So for those of you who don't know me, I've been a member of the club for most of my life, bar 10 years or so in my late 20s and early 30s, that well-recognised dip in our membership that we are working to rectify. My family moved to Emsworth in 1966, and my parents joined the club shortly thereafter. My father was keen that we 3 girls learn to sail, and I clearly remember my 2 sisters returning from home with hypothermia, having spent the day at Emsworth Sailing School, just 3 doors down the road at that time. I was never offered those lessons, but I worked in the bar and in the restaurant here for many years during school and university holidays. When Brian and Angela Lumber were the stewards, what a very different sailing club it was then. I think my parents thought that I'd just learned to sail from behind the bar. And for those of you that have seen me on the water will know that this did not exactly come to pass. I sold my fever in May of this year, and you're all now very much safer in the harbour. But I do love the water, and you'll see me swimming and kayaking and sailing with friends. Peter and I have loved raising our children here, and though not keen sailors yet, the club has played a huge role in their childhood and indeed in our family life. Professionally, my background is biochemistry and toxicology. I spent 30 years managing clinical trials, hugely topical, of course, at the moment as we work hard to find a vaccine for COVID. For the last 16 years, I was a senior trials manager at the Southampton Clinical Trials Unit, working mostly in cancer trials, until last summer when I was lucky enough to take early retirement. So to the club. This club is absolutely great. Obviously, I'm hugely biased, but I firmly believe that we have more to offer than all the other clubs in the harbour. I had a list ready to read out to you, but you don't need that list. You know all the things that make us such a great club. And though 2020 has been something of our very own annus horribilis, you've only got to watch the video, the Commodore's report video, to see just some of the brilliant things that we've got on offer. The video was absolutely fantastic and very well done to everybody who worked so hard to put it together. Since full lockdown ended, an enormous amount of work has gone on behind the scenes to reopen, and keep open the club. And though we haven't been able to run all the events that we'd planned, the summer season was a huge success. And I would personally like to thank everybody involved from every committee and all the extra volunteers for their hard work in making this happen. We've got a full membership and a waiting list of some 160, which is absolutely not the case in the other clubs in the harbour or indeed nationally. Financially, we are in a good position, as was detailed at the recent financial general meeting by our honorary treasurer. And though we're never complacent about this, we believe we're ready for whatever 2021 might throw at us, with a little wiggle room for anything unexpected. A number of people have asked me what my mission will be as Commodore, and my plans, as Tim has said, simply to steer the ship into and through 2021, trying to keep the club open. Obviously, Mr. Johnson's announcement this time yesterday has changed that, but we will be reviewing the guidance over the next few days, but it would appear that the club will have to close on Thursday. We're waiting for RYA guidance about sailing, and we will keep you all fully informed, of course. We plan to continue the many and varied work that we've started this year, completing the ops review, updating the operations manual, producing a human resources guide with clear terms of reference for all of the committee members. Liz, Victoria and Zoe, will continue the work started by Celia, transforming the way that the office works, making processes more efficient and all of our lives much easier. The change in our communications this year has been enormous, and we'll continue this work, aiming to further improve our comms with all areas of the membership. We'll shortly be sending out a survey to all members, asking what you want from the club. We'll tie this in with the feedback that we got from last year's accessibility survey, and this information will help inform our forward planning for the next 10 years so that we have a defined 10-year plan. We want all areas of the membership to be represented, so if you'd like to get involved in any area of club life, please make yourself known to the office. The club simply couldn't function without our brilliant army of volunteers, and it's a great way of getting to know people as well as being great fun. So it's all about you, the members, whether you want to race, train, instruct, volunteer your time, windsurf, hire a SUP or a kayak, attend social events, or just sit and eat and drink on the terrace. We want to make the club the very best that it can be for you. I'd like to welcome our new General Committee members, Nigel, Chris, Jamie, Anne and Ian. It's great to have you on board and you're very welcome. Thank you also to our outgoing General Committee members, David Edwards and Cameron March. Thank you for all of your hard work for the club over the past years. Go and enjoy your empty inboxes and some quiet time. Thank you to Peter, my husband, for allowing me the time to take on this role. I will try not to spend all of my time in Bath Road. And lastly, I'm absolutely delighted to have Tim, Craig and Debs alongside me as my flag officers for the forthcoming year. Please rest assured that we and all of the committee members will work really, really hard on your behalf. There's much to look forward to, and I'm delighted to be a part of it with you. Thank you.